We all face moments in life when people, situations, or circumstances try to provoke us. They test our patience, our emotions, and sometimes even our self-worth. In those moments, it's easy to react, to fire back, to defend ourselves. But today, I want to remind you of a powerful truth. There's more strength in silence than in reaction. When we face challenges, conflicts, or misunderstandings, we're often confronted with a choice. How will we respond? The truth is, every situation that triggers us presents an opportunity for growth, and our response is the defining factor in how we navigate it. The difference between reacting and responding is crucial. Reacting is impulsive. It's a knee-jerk response driven by emotion. It's a reaction to the stimulus around us, whether it's someone's words, their behavior, or a situation that feels unfair or unjust. When we react, we're often acting out of anger, frustration, or hurt, and those reactions rarely lead to peace. Instead, they can escalate conflict, leave us feeling drained, and sometimes even regretful. A reaction is like a spark in a dry forest, quick, fiery, but eventually leading to destruction. On the other hand, responding is a conscious choice. It comes from a place of control and clarity. When we respond, we take a moment to pause and assess the situation before we act. Responding involves using our mind, not just our emotions, to determine the best course of action. Instead of letting anger dictate our words or actions, we let wisdom and intention guide us. What's remarkable is that when we choose to respond rather than react, we shift the power back into our hands. We stop being at the mercy of the external circumstances and instead become the ones who determine how we engage with them. We no longer let the situation dictate our peace or control our emotions. When we respond thoughtfully, we maintain our dignity, protect our mental space, and move through life with greater ease. Moreover, our response shapes the way others perceive us. When someone tries to provoke us and we don't give in to their energy, we show them that we are not easily shaken. We become a model of grace under pressure. People begin to see us not as reactive, but as individuals who hold the power of self-control and emotional maturity. That's a powerful thing because not only does it change the dynamic with others, but it also transforms how we feel about ourselves. When we stop reacting out of frustration or ego, we begin to feel more peaceful, more grounded, and more in control of our lives. This power of response is not just about external situations, it's about internal strength. It's about knowing that we don't need to react to everything that happens around us. Life is full of things we cannot control, people's actions, situations that seem unfair, or misunderstandings. But what we can control is how we engage with those things. When we understand the power of response, we stop being victims of our emotions and start becoming empowered by them. We realize that we don't have to get caught up in every argument, every confrontation, or every negative energy. We get to choose how we move forward. In a world that often values noise, drama, and quick reactions, silence can feel like an unconventional choice. It's easy to think that silence equates to weakness or submission, but the reality is quite the opposite. Choosing silence is one of the most powerful decisions you can make in the face of conflict, negativity, or provocation. Silence is not the absence of action, it's the presence of control. When you choose silence, you are not surrendering your power, you're exercising it. Silence allows you to step outside the chaos and observe a situation for what it truly is, rather than being caught up in the emotional whirlwind. It's a sign of emotional maturity and self-awareness. Instead of reacting impulsively, you pause, gather your thoughts, and avoid saying something you might regret. This quiet strength allows you to maintain your dignity and composure regardless of the turmoil happening around you. People often expect a response, particularly when they've tried to provoke you. But by remaining silent, you show that you are not moved by their attempts to control your emotional state. In a way, silence speaks louder than words ever could. It's a powerful message that says, I'm not going to be dragged into this drama, or I refuse to let this disturbance alter my peace. Silence is an unspoken declaration of self-respect and boundaries. It's a subtle but profound way of saying, I am in control of myself and I won't let external forces dictate my emotional state. Moreover, silence offers the chance for reflection. It gives you time to think, to assess your options, and to decide how you truly want to engage. In moments of tension, many of us are tempted to speak without considering the consequences, but silence gives us the space to process what's really important. When we are silent, we can better align our actions with our values and long-term goals, rather than allowing short-term emotions to cloud our judgment. Silence also serves as a boundary. There are people and situations that thrive on drama, conflict, and negativity. When we choose silence, we are not indulging those energies. We are disengaging without confrontation, choosing not to participate in cycles of negativity that drain us. We may not always need to explain ourselves, defend our decisions, or justify our worth. The absence of words can create a powerful boundary that protects us from unnecessary emotional turmoil. Furthermore, silence can foster peace within. In a world where everyone seems to have an opinion and the noise of daily life is overwhelming, silence offers a sanctuary. It is in the moments of silence that we reconnect with ourselves, our purpose, and our inner peace. When we stop trying to win every argument or engage in every heated discussion, we free ourselves to cultivate tranquility and focus on what truly matters. Choosing silence also helps us maintain our integrity. We've all been in situations where speaking out might feel like the right thing to do, but in the long run, it could lead to harm, confusion, or unnecessary conflict. When we choose silence, we protect not just our peace, but the dignity of the situation and the dignity of others. Silence can be a way to avoid gossip, avoid contributing to negativity, and to walk away from things that are beneath our level of grace. Finally, silence can give others the space to reflect as well. Sometimes when we respond impulsively, we add fuel to the fire. But when we hold our peace, others are left with the responsibility to reflect on their own actions. Silence can be a mirror, causing others to see themselves in a way that a reactive response never could. When we refuse to meet anger with anger, or frustration with frustration, we give others a chance to reconsider their behavior without us being a part of their emotional drama. Silence is not a passive choice, it is a purposeful, deliberate act of strength. It requires patience, self-awareness, and emotional intelligence. By choosing silence, we are not allowing others to control us, but rather showing that we are in control of how we engage with the world around us. In the hustle and bustle of life, where demands are constant and distractions are many, protecting your peace is one of the most essential things you can do for your emotional, mental, and spiritual well-being. It is often said that peace is a state of mind, but more than that, it is a conscious choice, a decision to guard your inner calm, no matter what is happening around you. The world will always throw challenges your way, people who criticize you, situations that feel unfair, or unexpected circumstances that knock you off balance. But here's the truth, while you can't always control what happens to you, you can control how you respond. And it is in the way you respond that your peace is either safeguarded or jeopardized. One of the first steps in protecting your peace is recognizing that not everything deserves your attention. We often waste our emotional energy on things, people, and situations that aren't worth it. Someone's hurtful comment, a frustrating encounter, or a misunderstanding might seem important in the moment, but in the grand scheme of things, it often holds little real value. When you learn to recognize the difference between what's truly worth your energy and what is simply a distraction, you can begin to reclaim your peace. It's about becoming selective with where you invest your emotional resources. Another key to protecting your peace is establishing healthy boundaries. Boundaries are not about building walls or distancing yourself from others. They are about knowing your limits and ensuring that your needs are respected. When you allow people to cross your boundaries, whether it's in the form of criticism, disrespect, or emotional manipulation, you're inviting chaos into your life. Setting clear boundaries helps you maintain a sense of safety, both internally and externally. This means learning to say no when necessary, walking away from toxic relationships, and standing firm in your values without apologizing for them. Boundaries are not about being harsh. They're about protecting your inner sanctuary so that you can stay grounded in peace. Sometimes protecting your peace means letting go of things that no longer serve you. We often hold on to situations, people, or even old habits because we feel obligated or because we fear the unknown. But carrying unnecessary baggage can be draining. If a person, a habit, or even a situation is continually causing you stress, it's okay to release it. Letting go isn't about abandoning others. It's about releasing the emotional weight that keeps you stuck in a cycle of unrest. When you choose to let go, you free yourself to focus on the things that nurture your soul and contribute to your growth. Another powerful way to protect your peace is by being mindful of your environment. The spaces we inhabit, both physical and emotional, play a crucial role in our sense of well-being. If you surround yourself with negativity, clutter, or toxic energy, your peace will be constantly under siege. This can include physical environments like a cluttered home or workspace, but it also extends to the people you spend time with. If you're constantly around individuals who drain you, criticize you, or create drama, your peace will be at risk. Instead, seek environments that uplift you, bring you joy, and allow you to breathe freely. Surround yourself with positive influences and create spaces where you can feel centered, calm, and rejuvenated. Self-care is another essential component in protecting your peace. It's easy to get caught up in the rush of life, trying to meet everyone else's needs while neglecting your own. But when you don't take time to recharge and nurture yourself, you're more susceptible to burnout, stress, and emotional fatigue. Protecting your peace means carving out time for the activities that restore your energy, whether it's reading, exercising, meditating, or simply spending quiet time alone. When you take care of yourself, you build resilience against the pressures of the world and maintain the strength to face life's challenges with a calm heart and clear mind. Sometimes, protecting your peace involves choosing forgiveness over bitterness. Holding on to grudges or dwelling on past hurts can be like carrying a heavy stone in your heart. It weighs you down, and it prevents you from moving forward with joy. Forgiveness isn't about condoning the wrongs done to you. It's about releasing the emotional grip those wrongs have on you. When you forgive, you take back your power. You no longer allow the actions of others to dictate how you feel. In choosing forgiveness, you choose peace over pain and freedom over resentment. Equally important is learning how to disconnect from the chaos of the world. In today's hyper-connected world, we are constantly bombarded with news, social media updates, and the opinions of others. This constant influx of information can create noise and distract us from our inner peace. It's important to know when to step back and disconnect. Taking a break from social media, limiting your consumption of news, or even setting aside specific moments of quiet during your day can help you regain perspective and maintain emotional balance. Peace requires space. And sometimes the best way to protect it is by creating intentional moments of stillness in a world that never stops moving. Finally, protecting your peace means staying true to your own values and convictions, even in the face of pressure. Life often presents situations where you're tempted to compromise your integrity, to go along with the crowd, or to conform to what others expect of you. But when you live in alignment with your own values, your peace remains intact. It's about being authentic to who you are and refusing to let external influences dictate your sense of worth or direction. When you live with purpose and clarity, no amount of external chaos can shake your peace. Protecting your peace isn't a passive act. It's a proactive, daily commitment to creating an environment inside and out that allows you to thrive, remain centered, and live in harmony with your true self. In our lives, we are constantly surrounded by energy, positive and negative. Just as we gravitate toward uplifting, supportive people and situations, we also encounter negativity in many forms. Whether it's toxic relationships, toxic environments, or the negative chatter in our own minds, negative energy can have a powerful influence on our mental, emotional, and even physical well-being. Learning how to cut off negative energy is not just about distancing yourself from negative people, but about creating an environment that nurtures peace, growth, and positivity. One of the first steps in cutting off negative energy is recognizing its source. Negative energy isn't always easy to spot at first, especially when it comes from people we care about or situations we can't avoid. But over time, you begin to notice the signs. You feel drained after certain interactions. You find yourself constantly defending your ideas or emotions, or you sense that the overall atmosphere is heavy or toxic. This recognition is critical because once you are aware of the source of negativity, you can begin to take action to protect yourself. At its core, cutting off negative energy is about setting boundaries. Boundaries are essential to protecting your emotional and mental health. They are the invisible lines you draw to ensure that others' negativity doesn't seep into your space. Setting boundaries might mean limiting your time with people who consistently bring you down or who feed off of conflict. It might mean saying no when you're asked to participate in toxic conversations or situations that drain you. Boundaries are not about creating distance for the sake of isolation. They are about maintaining your sense of self and ensuring that your energy is spent on what truly matters. By setting healthy boundaries, you communicate to others and to yourself that you are not available for negativity. Sometimes cutting off negative energy means letting go of relationships that no longer serve you. This is one of the most difficult, but most liberating steps you can take. We often hold onto relationships out of obligation, guilt, or fear of being alone. But when a relationship is consistently draining, hurtful, or abusive, it can prevent you from growing and experiencing peace. Cutting ties with people who bring toxic energy into your life isn't about being cruel. It's about choosing your own well-being and peace over toxic loyalty. It's about giving yourself permission to walk away from people, situations, or behaviors that do not contribute positively to your life. In addition to cutting off negative energy from others, we must also be aware of the negative energy we carry within ourselves. Our own thoughts, beliefs, and internal narratives can be just as toxic as the influences around us. Self-doubt, guilt, shame, and worry are forms of negative energy that can limit our potential and weigh us down. If we are constantly criticizing ourselves, worrying about the future, or holding on to past mistakes, we create a negative environment within that stifles our growth. Part of cutting off negative energy is doing the work to release these self-limiting beliefs and to replace them with a mindset of abundance, self-love, and grace. This might mean practicing self-compassion, seeking therapy or counseling, or simply taking time to engage in positive affirmations or meditation. Another important aspect of cutting off negative energy is being intentional about the environments we inhabit. Our physical spaces, whether they are our homes, workplaces, or social circles, have a profound impact on our mental and emotional health. If we surround ourselves with clutter, chaos, or environments that are filled with negativity, it can be difficult to maintain a sense of peace. Creating a positive environment doesn't mean making everything perfect. It means making deliberate choices to surround yourself with things, people, and experiences that uplift you. This could involve creating a calming space in your home, spending more time in nature, or curating a social media feed that nourishes your soul rather than drains it. When you surround yourself with positive energy, it becomes much easier to cut off the negative energy that tries to creep in. When you make the decision to cut off negative energy, you also make the decision to protect your peace from external chaos. It's easy to get caught up in the negativity around us, whether it's the news, gossip, or the opinions of others. But we must recognize that we have the power to control what we expose ourselves to. Limiting your exposure to negativity in the media, stepping away from toxic conversations, or even disconnecting from people who constantly complain or spread fear can make a tremendous difference in your mental and emotional well-being. While we cannot control the world around us, we can control our level of engagement with it. By consciously choosing to disconnect from negative influences, we preserve our energy for the things that matter most. Forgiveness also plays a crucial role in cutting off negative energy. Holding on to grudges, resentment, or anger towards others keeps us tethered to the very negativity we are trying to release. Forgiveness doesn't mean excusing harmful behavior, but it does mean releasing the emotional grip it has over us. When we forgive, we free ourselves from the toxic energy that resentment creates. Forgiveness is not for the other person, it's for us. It's a powerful way to cut the negative energy that lingers in our hearts, allowing us to move forward with lightness and peace. Cutting off negative energy also involves practicing mindfulness and being intentional about your focus. Often we feed into negativity by allowing ourselves to ruminate on the things that upset or disturb us. The negative thoughts and emotions become like a cycle that repeats itself, gaining strength the more we feed it. By practicing mindfulness, we can break this cycle. Being present in the moment, focusing on the things that bring us peace, and choosing where we direct our energy can help us avoid getting caught in the grip of negativity. Mindfulness allows us to observe negative energy without letting it consume us, giving us the space to choose how we respond. Ultimately, cutting off negative energy is about taking control of your emotional landscape. It's about creating a life that reflects your values, supports your well-being, and aligns with the person you want to become. Negative energy, whether from others, from within, or from external circumstances, has no place in a life that is focused on growth, peace, and positivity. By making the conscious decision to cut off negativity, you free yourself to live a life that is full of light, love, and possibility. In every relationship, every interaction, and every part of life, boundaries are essential to maintaining our emotional, mental, and spiritual well-being. Boundaries are the invisible lines that define what is acceptable and what is not just in the behavior of others, but in how we treat ourselves. They act as a shield, protecting our energy and our peace, ensuring that we don't lose ourselves in the demands and expectations of the world around us. At the heart of creating boundaries is the realization that we are responsible for our own well-being. No one can truly protect our peace or maintain our balance except us. Boundaries are the way we take ownership of our emotional, mental, and physical space. They are the declaration that we value ourselves enough to say no when necessary and to protect our time, energy, and emotional health from being depleted by others. Without boundaries, we risk becoming overwhelmed, drained, and disconnected from our own needs and desires. The first step in creating boundaries is understanding what you need to protect. What drains you? What makes you feel small or diminished? What behaviors from others do you tolerate that you should not? Often, we are so focused on pleasing others, meeting expectations, or avoiding conflict that we lose sight of our own needs. Boundaries help you identify what you need to thrive, whether it's time, space, emotional energy, or a sense of respect, and they allow you to create a structure that supports those needs. Once you have a clear understanding of your needs, the next step is communicating your boundaries clearly. This is where many people struggle. We often hesitate to assert our boundaries because we fear being seen as selfish, demanding, or confrontational. However, clear and respectful communication is crucial in setting boundaries. It's about expressing your needs in a way that others can understand and respect. This doesn't mean you have to apologize or justify your boundaries. It simply means stating what you need in a calm, firm, and respectful manner. Whether it's saying, I need some quiet time to recharge, or I cannot take on this additional task right now. Communicating your boundaries ensures that others know where you stand and what you're willing to accept. Another important part of creating boundaries is learning to say no without guilt. Many people struggle with saying no because they feel obligated to say yes, even when it's not in their best interest. Saying no is not about rejecting others, it's about protecting your own space and peace. It's okay to turn down invitations, opportunities, or requests that don't align with your priorities or values. When you say no, you're saying yes to yourself. Saying no is a form of self-respect, and it is essential for maintaining balance in your life. In some situations, boundaries are not just about saying no, they are about defining the limits of your emotional involvement. This can be especially difficult in relationships where emotions run high. Some people may try to pull you into their drama or create unnecessary conflict, and if you're not careful, you can become enmeshed in their emotional turbulence. Setting boundaries in these cases means recognizing that you don't have to carry the weight of others' emotions. You can listen, empathize, and offer support, but you do not have to absorb their pain or make it your own. Protecting your emotional space means recognizing where your feelings end and where another person's begin. Additionally, creating boundaries often requires distance or detachment. There are times when maintaining boundaries means physically or emotionally distancing yourself from people, situations, or environments that continuously drain you or violate your peace. This could mean limiting time with certain people who are constantly negative or toxic, leaving a job that is emotionally demanding, or stepping away from environments that are overly stressful. Distance is a powerful tool in protecting your energy and allowing you to recharge so that you can return to your life with renewed focus and vitality. Sometimes, boundaries are not about stopping others from crossing a line. They are about recognizing when you've crossed your own boundaries. We are often our own worst enemy when it comes to maintaining boundaries. We might overcommit to tasks, ignore our need for rest, or push ourselves beyond our limits to meet the expectations of others. To create healthy boundaries, we must first honor our own needs, and this requires self-awareness and self-compassion. This means recognizing when we're overextending ourselves and learning to listen to the signs that we need to slow down and recharge. It's about being kind to ourselves and respecting our own limits, just as we would respect the limits of others. Creating boundaries also involves dealing with resistance from others. Not everyone will be happy when you set boundaries. Some people may push back, test your limits, or attempt to make you feel guilty for prioritizing yourself. This can be especially challenging when the resistance comes from people we care about. However, it's important to remember that setting boundaries is not about controlling others, it's about controlling your own life. If others react negatively, that's not a reflection of your boundaries, but a reflection of their inability or unwillingness to respect them. It's crucial to stay firm and consistent in enforcing your boundaries, even in the face of resistance. Boundaries are for your well-being, and you have every right to protect them. Finally, boundaries require maintenance and flexibility. As your life evolves, so will your needs. What worked as a boundary at one point in your life may need to be adjusted as circumstances change. For example, you may need to set new boundaries in a relationship as it evolves, or your work-life balance may need to shift depending on new responsibilities. Boundaries are not rigid, they are dynamic and should be revisited regularly to ensure that they still align with your current needs. Being willing to assess and adjust your boundaries is part of the process of maintaining a balanced, healthy life. Creating boundaries is an ongoing, active process of self-care, self-respect, and self-awareness. It's not about being rigid or controlling. It's about honoring your own needs, protecting your peace, and creating space for healthy, meaningful relationships. It is one of the most loving things you can do for yourself and for others. When you create strong, healthy boundaries, you ensure that you remain the best version of yourself and are able to give freely and fully from a place of wholeness, not depletion. In a world that constantly seeks external approval, whether through likes on social media, praise from colleagues, or the affirmation of family and friends, letting go of the need for validation is one of the most liberating and empowering things you can do. It's a journey of reclaiming your self-worth from the hands of others and finding peace in the knowing that your value is inherent, not dependent on external recognition. The first step in letting go of the need for validation is recognizing that external validation is fleeting and unreliable. No matter how much praise you receive, how many compliments you collect, or how many accolades you accumulate, they often don't last. The moment the praise stops, or when the next wave of expectations arises, you may find yourself back at square one, feeling unworthy or inadequate. External validation can never truly satisfy the deeper need for self-acceptance and inner peace. It's like trying to fill a cup with water that has no bottom. No matter how much you pour in, it will never be enough. The real fulfillment comes from within, from understanding that you are valuable, capable, and deserving regardless of others' opinions or acknowledgement. Another important aspect of letting go of the need for validation is redefining what success and worth truly mean. Often we tie our sense of value to external markers, our job title, our appearance, the relationships we maintain, or the accomplishments we achieve. But when these things are no longer enough, or when they are taken from us, we are left with a sense of emptiness. True success is not about what we can show others, it's about the internal growth we experience and the alignment we maintain with our own values and purpose. Your worth is not determined by the titles you hold or the praise you receive. It's determined by your character, your integrity, and your ability to live authentically. Learning to find contentment in being who you are without needing to prove yourself to others frees you from the exhausting cycle of seeking approval. Self-acceptance is at the heart of letting go of the need for validation. When you deeply accept your flaws, imperfections, and all, you no longer feel the need to seek validation from others to feel good about who you are. This doesn't mean becoming complacent or ignoring areas for personal growth. Rather, it means understanding that your value isn't contingent upon perfection or approval. It means loving yourself unconditionally, regardless of your accomplishments, mistakes, or the opinions of others. Self-acceptance allows you to stand confidently in your own skin, knowing that you are enough exactly as you are in this moment. When you accept yourself, you no longer look to others to define your worth. Letting go of the need for validation also requires releasing the fear of rejection or disapproval. The reason we often seek external validation is because we fear not being accepted or loved if we don't conform to others' expectations. But living in constant fear of rejection is exhausting and keeps us locked in a cycle of seeking approval. It's important to realize that not everyone will agree with you or approve of you, and that's perfectly okay. The fear of rejection often stems from a desire to be liked, but when you embrace the idea that your value is not contingent on being liked by everyone, you free yourself from the need to seek validation in every interaction. You can stand in your truth, speak your mind, and make decisions without worrying about whether others will approve. The more you accept the reality of rejection and disapproval, the less power it has over you. A crucial part of this journey is also learning to trust yourself. When you rely too heavily on the opinions of others, you place your sense of worth in the hands of people who may not have your best interests at heart or who may not fully understand your unique path. Trusting yourself means being able to make decisions based on your own values and inner guidance, even if others don't approve or understand. It's about being aligned with your own truth, knowing that you have the strength and wisdom to navigate your life without the need for constant affirmation. This trust in yourself brings a deep sense of confidence and security that doesn't waver based on the fluctuations of external feedback. Additionally, letting go of the need for validation involves developing an internal source of encouragement. We often seek validation because we feel uncertain or insecure about our own abilities. But the more you cultivate a relationship with yourself rooted in self-compassion and encouragement, the less you need external sources to tell you that you're doing well. This can be done through positive self-talk, affirmations, or taking time to acknowledge your own progress and achievements. When you become your own biggest cheerleader, the need for external praise diminishes. You start to recognize that the validation you seek was always within you, just waiting to be acknowledged. Part of this process also requires disengaging from comparison. The desire for validation often arises when we compare ourselves to others. We look at their successes, their lifestyles, their approval from others, and begin to measure our own worth against theirs. Comparison is one of the most damaging habits when it comes to self-worth because it keeps us focused on what others are doing rather than on our own unique journey. The truth is, your path is unique to you, and no one else's story can truly reflect your value. When you stop comparing yourself to others and start focusing on your own growth and progress, you break free from the need for validation and begin to celebrate your individuality. Another aspect of this process is learning to be comfortable with vulnerability. Many of us seek validation because we fear being misunderstood or unseen. We crave approval because it affirms our sense of belonging and connection. But when we release the need for validation, we embrace the freedom to be vulnerable, knowing that our worth doesn't depend on how we are perceived by others. Vulnerability allows us to show up authentically without the need for masks or pretenses, and it allows us to be okay with not always being approved of. The freedom and vulnerability is that we can exist fully as ourselves without needing to constantly prove our worth to others. Ultimately, letting go of the need for validation is a journey back to your true self. It's about realizing that your worth has never been dependent on others' opinions, achievements, or accolades. It's about finding peace in your own skin, embracing your unique journey, and accepting that you are enough just as you are. When you release the need for validation, you unlock the freedom to live authentically, confidently, and fully, no longer bound by the approval of others, but empowered by the love and acceptance you give yourself. In conclusion, letting go of the need for validation, creating healthy boundaries, cutting off negative energy, and protecting your peace are all interconnected steps toward living a life of true freedom and fulfillment. When you learn to trust your own worth, honor your boundaries, and stop seeking approval from others, you reclaim your inner strength and resilience. Remember, your value is not determined by external praise or the opinions of others. It is rooted in who you are at your core. By choosing to prioritize your peace, you open the door to a life of authenticity, joy, and empowerment.